1 2 1 2. I go by the name of DJ What, and you're now listening to the original Jeek Podcast. Let's go.
Ready to make an entrance, so backward cut. Come on, cut for me.
Oh yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
Fresh.
Yeah, making me itch.
What up, Jeeks? It is your boy RockinMrMagic, and we are back with another episode of the original Jeek Podcast. Yes, first and foremost, man, I gotta say I'm sorry to all of y'all who do enjoy this show and keep it going and subscribe. We love y'all so much, and honestly apologize that we have not been able to create the amount of episodes that we desire to for this show. A lot of the focus this year has been on the newest Jeek Nation show, Fanalysis 101, which is a sports analysis from a fan perspective show that has been getting primarily the main amount of focus in 2025. But we have been planning and putting topics and ideas together and just things following through with recording this show. But today, we got time, so we're going to make it happen. For those who are new to this, I am your host, the one and only, the enigmatic RockinMrMagic, and we are going to jump right in here. So, starting with a little bit of what are you PWC? What are you playing, watching, and or creating? As aforementioned, we have been creating Fanalysis 101, and playing has been, well, I'm still at it, still playing the Destiny 2. I know. So many people have jumped off the Bungie bandwagon, and I'm going to keep it 100. If I would have read up more about the latest DLC, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Yeah, I know I've been a day one Destiny 2 player. I've been playing Destiny since The Taken King. I've told the story of how I got into Destiny multiple times on this show, but I would not have bought this latest update had I read a little bit more about it. And I have friends who did not buy it, and I understand why. I get it. I agree with why. So if you're still in Destiny grind, awesome. I am as well, but I'm going to keep it 100. I am not as involved as I was just because it's a little bit disappointing. And also, things have changed. I don't have time to do a lot of the things that I want to do, like raid. It's hard to find 6 people to raid that you can get along with and enjoy playing with. And it takes a long time to do a raid. It can take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to complete a raid. And often don't have that type of time. So, but I am still playing Destiny 2. Been playing some No Man's Sky with the most recent update, the Corvette update, having fun with that. And I had some other things to catch up on in No Man's Sky that I didn't do. So I am playing that, enjoying it. Completed pretty much all the new stuff. Only thing I have left that I would like to do with No Man's Sky is I want to get one of those S-Class Dreadnought pirate style freighters. I like my current freighter, but the design of the pirate Dreadnought style is so much cooler. So I think I'm going to be playing and searching for that. And then I'll probably put No Man's Sky down for a while until the next expedition, because unfortunately there's just not enough missions or content that can just really keep me playing regularly. Even with the new Corvettes, which are essentially flying bases, and you can have like friends with you, which is also another cool thing. I just don't think there's enough to keep me playing. Like most of the missions you can do solo. So until they start plugging in maybe some PvP or something that's a little bit more challenging when it comes to multiple people involved in a mission, I don't know how much I would, continue to play prior to the next update. I've also been playing some Final Fantasy. Most recently, Final Fantasy 16, but I don't think I mentioned it on this show, so I don't think I mentioned it at all. But I have been playing Final Fantasy, and I finally, after 300 plus hours on the PlayStation 2, and after probably another 300 hours on PS4, I finally finished Final Fantasy 12. I finally completed the story. I had never completed it prior. I was too busy level grinding and doing all the hunts. I wanted to hit level 99 on all the characters and do all the hunts prior to completing the game. And I said to myself, it's been like 20 years. You need to really finish this game. And I had some little extra free time. So I was like, okay, let's do it. We're going to not do all the hunts. We're just going to finish the game. And I leveled everybody up to 99. And I did all the hunts. And then I finished the game. And I'm very happy. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. Final Fantasy 12 it's in my top 5 for Final Fantasy games. I love it. I can see myself playing through again. I had already kind of restarted playing again, and it starts you off at like level like 75 or something when you just replay through. You don't get to keep any of your items, unfortunately, but it starts you off at a high level. So I had a good time with that. And then I went back and started playing Final Fantasy 16, which I thought I was deeper in the story than I probably am. But being that I still have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth still unplayed after having it for a year and still not finishing Final Fantasy 7 Remake, I have a lot of Final Fantasy I need to play. So I'm back at it and really enjoying it. If you've finished Final Fantasy 16 or have played it a lot, I'm currently with Clive's uncle Byron, and I'm about to leave some inn where you're trying to find a woman in like this desert area. So if you're familiar with Final Fantasy 16, that's where I am in the game. All right. So we're going to transition over to a little 3 is the magic number. Got 3 gaming topics here, 3 items, because the topic for this 3 is the magic number is gaming. Sticking with that topic here, sticking with that theme. First, as of this recording, it would be yesterday that we had the release of Silent Hill F. If you're not familiar with Silent Hill, it is a survival horror series, and the Silent Hill F is the latest installment. I'm not traditionally, I'm not a horror guy. I really don't like horror movies. I really haven't played a lot. I don't think I played a lot of horror games. I've played some horror games, but I really don't think I've played a lot. Or maybe not. Okay, what I'll say is I haven't played a lot of horror game franchises. So I have played a lot of, if you count each game individually, I've played a lot of Resident Evils, and that's 4. And I also have played Silent Hill 1 and 2. Maybe another one. I don't think so, but definitely Silent Hills 1 and 2 back in the 90s. Silent Hill F, and honestly, I haven't gone. I know I really didn't play the newer Silent Hills, but Silent Hill F looks absolutely phenomenal. It's a terrifically gorgeous looking game. Like it's stunning. A little background on this game, which is available on PS5, Xbox, Steam, Game Pass, so Windows, the Epic Store. So for multiple platforms, multiple consoles. It takes place in 1960s Japan. Your protagonist is a teenage Japanese girl who is in a sailor suit, and she just lives in a small town and is just an average teen living a average teen life in 1960s Japan. And honestly, that's all I know about it. Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot more about this game. And honestly, I don't want to know a lot more about this game. For the horror games that I do participate in, I do play, I actually prefer to not know too much about them, adding to the element of surprise. You know, I don't know if you did this back in the day, but like, one player games like this, we would be at the homie's house and take turns playing the game and, watching whoever's playing, dim lights or lights off for a scary game to kind of add to the suspense and of the, the jump scares and, and this, adds to the ambiance with the, the music coming from the game and such. And this game looks absolutely picture perfect fit for that type of experience. If, I know there's a lot of streamers out there who like to stream scary games and, try to keep from being scared or, have those type of reaction type streams. This looks completely like the perfect game for that. And I'm really excited. Like, this is a game I'm going to get. I haven't bought a Silent Hill game in a long, long time, but this game definitely looks like one I'm going to add to my library, even though, as I just mentioned, I have a bunch of Final Fantasy games to still play. This is going to be a game that's added to my library. All right. Next on the list is, again, talking about Final Fantasy Tactics, The Ivalice Chronicles. So this game is another rendition of Final Fantasy Tactics, most popularly known as the War of the Lions. I happen to love this game. I have bought this game multiple times. I own it on PSP. I'm pretty sure I still have the PS1 version. I have played it and replayed it multiple times. It's one of my favorite turn-based games. It fills a great nostalgia hole. The story is good. The gameplay is good. It's really a good time. Now, I'm going to keep it real. I've bought this game too many times. And honestly, I could buy it again because, unless I somehow find another third-party battery and third-party charger out there on the internet for my PSP, I'm not going to be playing The War of the Lions anytime soon because my PSP is like, 17 years old, something like that. Like, it's old. Battery done gone. The battery gone. So, and I've bought aftermarket batteries and they didn't last long. So unless I find an aftermarket battery and an aftermarket charger, because I'm pretty sure my charger is missing, and start to use that, it's unlikely that I'm going to be getting a fix of this game soon. But regardless of that, the option to be able to play on my Switch or something like that, I ain't buying this game again. I'm not doing it. I love the game. It's a favorite. I ain't buying it no more. Square has gotten my money too many times, Tenny, to quote Pootie Tang, for me to give them my money again for this game, especially at the price point. And I tell nobody to not buy games, but I'm going to tell you this. I always recommend people be smart, even frugal with their gaming purchases, because it's hard out here in these digital streets. Okay? So I always recommend you getting games you can afford. And right now, we're talking about $49.99 for the standard edition and $59.99 for the deluxe edition, which, there's some pre-order incentives that you can get as well. The only plus again, is I can get a physical copy. And again, I can't really play it, but I ain't buying this game again. I'll add a caveat. If I buy this game again, it'll because somebody gave me a gift card for Nintendo, and then I spent this money, or like a, Best Buy gift card, Amazon gift card, and then I spent the money on the game. But I ain't coming out my pocket no more. I've bought this game too many times. I ain't doing it. Not happening. But if you've never played Final Fantasy Tactics and you like turn-based strategy, turn-based RPG, and you like that 90s retro nostalgia, I encourage you completely to consider purchasing this game because I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. It's, like I said, it's a favorite. There's also, from what I have read, the game has like an updated version, and then but there's also, you can play through like the classic. I think it's either the PS1 version or it's the War of the Lions version, from the PSP release, which was late 2000s. So, or late 2000s, early 2010s, around that area. So I highly recommend the game. It's excellent. I'm just saying myself, I done bought it too many times. But unless someone gives me a gift card, or for some reason I decide to buy their special collector's box, which just gives me the game, but gives me statue of the main character Ramza and board and all types of crafted stuff for the collector to scratch that collector's itch. But that is not an itch I need to scratch right now. So I ain't worried about that. It looks cool, but the cost, I don't even know how much it costs for the collector's box. Let me see if what Square shows. Collector's box, game bundle. Oh, it's not even showing me a price because it's unavailable. So yeah, I'm sure it would have been $200, $300, something insane like that. Not going to happen. Not going to be able to do. All right, last game. Last game we're talking about here is Ghost of Yotai. This is I guess it's not a sequel, but it is in the same universe, same world as its predecessor, Ghost of Tsushima. From my understanding, it takes place about 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. We have another female protagonist here. The design looks awesome. Now, I have to admit, Ghost of Tsushima is a game that I really don't have much experience with. There was like a PS Plus version that was given away that I've only spent 15 minutes in. So I don't even think it's the full game and story. So I'm very limited in my experience with Ghost of Tsushima. But from what I did experience was really cool. And I have not met a single person who has played the game that has disliked it or been disappointed in it. So I feel very confident in saying that I will thoroughly enjoy playing Ghost of Yotai, just based off of the little bit of experience and the feedback that I've gotten on its predecessor. It looks amazing. It's definitely one that I am putting on a wish list. Another game that I would definitely buy once, if I had some extra gift card money. Can't say for sure I would cop it. Again, because I don't have, its predecessor, and I don't even know if I do. Maybe it's the full game. I don't know. But I haven't spent enough time in it to really determine, hey, this is so nice. I gotta get the follow-up. But it looks amazing. And if you're a fan of Ghost of Tsushima, this has got to be a no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer. Speaking of no-brainers, have you ever wanted to start a podcast? Maybe you're like me. You like to talk too much. You like to go on rants about your favorite topics, comic books, sports, politics, the weather, whatever. I would encourage you to do so. And the best way to do so is with Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. It provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Zencastr records video up to 4K to give you the picture-perfect quality that your video podcast deserves. Zencastr will also distribute your video podcast in 1080p to all available video podcast players. Zencastr's post-production process takes the headache out of audio production. You can set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. Ready to start? Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code JeekNation, JeekNation, and you'll get 30% off your first 3 months of Zencastr Professional. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Get started today on Zencastr. Again, zencastr.com/pricing and use my code JeekNation to save 30%. Now back to our regular scheduled programming. So, next topic of this episode is Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, aka Mommy Rocket, sprinter, track star from the island of Jamaica, has called it career. This year's World Championships of Track was the final hurrah, the send-off for the track and field great. If you're not familiar with Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, I'm going to just give a little bit of her accomplishments, just to put in perspective the level of greatness from this woman. Okay. She's fast, y'all. She ran her last 100-meter heat, finishing with a time of 11.03 seconds. In just her international competitions alone, starting with the Olympic Games, Mommy Rocket won the gold medal in the 100 meters in 2008 in Beijing, another gold medal in the 100 meters in 2012 in London, and the 4x100 meters in 2020 in Tokyo. She won silver medals in the 200 meters in 2012 in London, the 4x100 relay in 2012 in London, as well as 2016 in Rio, and the 100 meters in 2020 in Tokyo. She took the bronze in the 100 meters in 2016 in Rio. In the World Championships, she took gold in the 100 meters and the 4x100 meters in 2009 in Berlin, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 4x100 meters in 2013 in Moscow, the 100 meters, the 4x100 meters in 2015 in Beijing, the 100 meters and the 4x100 in 2019 in Doha, the 100 meters in 2022 in Eugene, as in Oregon. She took silver in the 4x100 in 2007 in Osaka, again the 4x100 in 2011 in Daegu, the 200 meters in 2022 in Eugene, and the 4x100 in 2022 in Eugene, the 4x100 in 2023 in Budapest, and she took bronze in the 100 meters in 2023 in Budapest. Lastly, in the indoor World Athletic Championships, she took gold in the 60-meter dash in 2014 in Sopot. That's just international, y'all. Mommy Rocket, fast. And not only fast, but a phenomenal example of excellence within track and field. I know track and field isn't the most popular sport amongst us in Jeek Nation. There are, basketball, football, baseball, football, aka soccer, tend to be a lot more prevalent. Even hockey. We don't talk about track and field a ton within this show, or just even within the Jeek Nation Facebook community. It's not that often of a topic. But for those of us like myself, and looking at me, if you didn't know me back then, you'd be like, I don't know how much he knows about track and field there. But back in the day, your boy was a sprinter. I ran the 100, the 200, the 400, and the 800. I competed in the long jump, the high jump, the shot put, and the triathlon. Yeah, I know track and field very well. And Shelly Ann Fraser-Price was beyond one of the best. She was the upper echelon of track and field, and so dominant, such a threat to win for many, many years. You can see this picture for those watching on video. This picture here is of her in the Diamond League. I didn't even mention Diamond League accomplishments. I just went over the international competitions. She just excellent. And if you're talking about greatest women's sprinters of all time, you can't have that conversation honestly without referencing Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. So from all of us here at Jeek Nation, every fan, we just want to acknowledge the greatness of Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Thank you for sharing your God-given gifts and your drive and determination to form those gifts into track and field excellence. We wish you all the best as you transition on to your next phase of life. Thank you so much. Staying with female athletes, this is just a little bit of fun. There was an announcement back in the spring about a collaboration between Nike and Lego, and that collaboration included A'ja Wilson as an ambassador. And this month, Lego decided to make a minifig version of A'ja Wilson. Now, this is just an image. There hasn't been any announcement as far as a actual minifig of A'ja Wilson that I've seen. But if it becomes a real thing, as a big Lego fan as I am, I would definitely want to get my own Lego minifig version of A'ja Wilson. The collab itself was kits of two shoes, Nike Air Max and Nike Dunk. I think the Air Max looks a bit better than the Nike Dunk version, but it's a lot of fun that Nike, Lego had this collaboration and bringing in athletes to advocate as, look, Jeek culture is becoming more and more mainstream, and it's awesome to see. And this type of, Miles Turner in the NBA is known for building Lego. Now, people try to use it and make fun of him, but he's a proud Lego fan, and I'm glad that he is able to use his platform to, share his love of Lego. And I'm glad that Nike, did this collaboration with Lego to continue to bring the fun and enjoyment of Lego more into the mainstream and merging it with the world of sports. Since we're talking about Nike, for my fellow sneakerheads, I got to bring up this pair of kicks that are set to release sometime this fall of 2025. Don't have an official release date yet, but these are the John Morant Air Force One Low New York versus New York. That's a mouthful. It's a lot. I know. It's a lot. Now, if you're not familiar and you're wondering what John Morant and New York versus New York really have to do with each other, they really don't have to do a lot with each other, to be perfectly honest. But you know how collaborations and design works, particularly with shoes. These are part of a special release. If you don't know, New York versus New York is a street ball tournament that Nike organizes pretty much every year. And every year there's generally some specific footwear and gear that is connected to this tournament. And the New York versus New York tournament, what it does is essentially highlights top high school talent throughout NYC. And sometimes the drops are pretty dope. This drop, I think, is fire, flat out fire. So we've got, it's supposed to be obviously mostly black on black. You can see the white laces and the gum soles, which I think are dope. You can see for those watching the video here, you can see the overhead view. I like the printing on the insole. But one thing I don't like about these are the laces, these like sailor rope looking laces. I'm not a fan of that. I like the New York versus New York on the back. The font is pretty cool. But again, on this picture, that's a little close up for those watching on video, you can see that rope lace. I'm just not a fan of it. But the North Carolina blue accents, very cool. The black on black, very clean, very crisp. And then the gum soles look great. And I'm generally not the biggest fan of gum soles, but these look really, really dope. It's really cool how good these look. I'm hoping that they're available in my size. I don't know if they will be. The sizes have not been listed in addition to the release date. I recommend if anyone is interested in trying to cop these, keep your eyes on the sneakers app or Nike.com or the Nike app to, catch the date for these dropping. I've told myself I'm done buying shoes for a while, but if these are my size, I might have to make it happen. I don't have any pairs of Air Force Ones. The last pair of Air Force Ones I had was when I was in high school, and they were old holdovers. I think they were old, like from the 80s original batch holdovers. And of course I wore them and, I'd had them since 1996. So, they're long gone. They were beat up and such, but I love those. I love Air Force Ones. So I haven't had a pair of Air Force Ones in forever. But these look really good. Oh, they look really good. It's going to be hard to not try to acquire a pair of these should they be available in my size. But I want to know from you, listeners, would you cop a pair of these? If so, let me know in the comments for the show. If you're watching on YouTube, please comment there. If you're listening on Spotify, listening on Good Pods, please comment on the show whether you would cop a pair of these. And not just on these. I would also like to know if you plan on buying any of the games that we've mentioned previously. If you're going to get Ghost of Yotai, if you're going to get Final Fantasy, the Tactics, or if you're going to, or if you could do all three, if you're into Silent Hill as well, or which one would you pick if you only could pick one, if you could only afford one, which one will be your priority? I'd love to hear that in the comments on the show. All right. So last topic of this episode. So if you don't know, I'm a Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo. I generally buy my Nintendo consoles day one. So the only brand I've bought day one, I shouldn't say that, but the only one I still buy day one. I've bought day one with other consoles and regretted it, but I buy day one with Nintendo. And they've never let me down. I have a NES, SNES. I've got a N64, GameCube, Wii, Switch, all originals, all day one buys, and they all still work. And no issues. And my NES is almost 40 years old. Still plays, plugged in right now. So I'm a big Nintendo fan. And I was excited for this year's Nintendo Direct. And if you don't know what Nintendo Direct is, it's kind of like their Apple event where they announce new things. They announce new games, new products, exclusive Nintendo stuff. Generally, it's new hardware and what's coming in the future and such. So I was a little excited for this Nintendo Direct. And I got to tell you, they surprised me. And I don't know what to make of this announcement. I kind of feel like Nintendo is trolling. To be perfectly honest, I kind of feel like they're trolling. So, man, Nintendo, well, they've chosen to release the Virtual Boy. Yep, you heard me right. The Virtual Boy. Now, if you're not old enough to remember, the Virtual Boy was a headset Game Boy that was supposed to give you a virtual reality experience. There was only one problem with the Virtual Boy. It sucked. It was trash. The Virtual Boy was a massive gaming debacle in the 90s. It didn't sell well, partially because when people heard the reviews and saw the results and played the games, people told people, do not buy this. Take it back, return it. It ain't worth it. It wasn't good. Now, and it was also expensive. Now, the reason why I know the system itself was trash was because I had a classmate, shout out Nate Young, who had a virtual boy. He brought it into school and let some of us classmates play with it. It was not a fun experience. There was intrigue, there was excitement, but then you start playing and everything is black and red, and it just wasn't very enjoyable. It wasn't good. So when I saw this, at first I had hope because, silly me, my thought was, oh, Nintendo was taking their first big step into VR with the Switch 2. Because I would imagine the Switch 2 would be powerful enough to support some VR. So my thought is, hey, what better way to step into VR than to take a disgraced product, use that nostalgic design, and make no mistake, everybody wanted the Virtual Boy to be good. It just wasn't. Take that nostalgic design and to be the foray into VR. Makes sense. But that's not what we have. We didn't get that. What we have is another emulator. That's what we got. We have yet another Nintendo emulator. And that's what just drives me nuts, is that this is just another emulator. So what Nintendo is doing is that they're going to charge you $100 for this. And if you're watching on YouTube or watching a reel, this is what you're going to be getting. You spend $100 for a new Virtual Boy, and it's going to be paired with the Nintendo Online emulator of Virtual Boy games. So you can spend $100 to play Virtual Boy, the same old busted Virtual Boy games from 30 years ago. And if you don't want to spend $100, you can spend $25 for the cardboard version. Why? This feels like such a troll job for Nintendo. It doesn't make sense. Like, this announcement should be, hey, we've redesigned the Virtual Boy to pair with the Switch 2, and now you're going to be able to play VR games like No Man's Sky. I hate to kind of keep bringing it up, but it's a great example as a game that you can play that has VR support, whether it's on Steam or on the PlayStation, with the Sony's VR headset. That's like what the announcement should be. Hey, we've redesigned Virtual Boy. It's going to work with the Switch 2. You're going to be able to play X amount of titles in VR, and developers are excited to start working on VR supported games for the Switch 2 with the Virtual Boy. But no, they want you to spend $100 to do the same thing over again. The same mistake they made 30 years ago. I hope beyond hope. And look, I was expecting good things as a Nintendo fan. And there were things I was expecting to hear in the Nintendo Direct that Shout out to my man Harrison Rich and my friends at the Nintendo Therapy Podcast. Listening to them keeps me up to date with a lot what's going on for Nintendo and rumors and what to possibly expect. But this was so unexpected. This was a shot out of left field. This was a curved ball mixed with a slider and mixed with a spitball. This just does not make any freaking sense. So I don't even know what to say regarding this because it doesn't make any sense. I hope someone can explain this to me. And if this is interesting to you, please comment on the show. Like I said, Spotify, Good Pods, YouTube, please comment on why you're interested in this because it has me confused, dazed, and befuddled. I don't get it. I really don't get why anybody would want to spend $100 on this. Don't. It's confusing. I'm lost, to say the least. I'm really lost. And again, I hope beyond hope that it's a troll, but that later on they say, oh, by the way, you're going to be able to do actual VR on this. I really hope that's the case. Maybe it's a test. I don't know. If it's a test, it doesn't make sense, but I'm just trying to be hopeful, y'all. I'm really trying. I'm trying to be hopeful. But, I mean, hope can only go so far. And this just seems just really, really silly. I don't know. Last little tidbit before we close out this episode. Big Boy of Outkast and Whirlpool have teamed up to release a limited edition washing machine. And when this washing machine completes a load cycle, it will play So Fresh, So Clean. Now, at the time of this recording, the window to submit for a chance to win or get access to this washing machine has ended. But I thought this was too fun not to talk about. So, yeah, some lucky person or persons will be in the possession of a Whirlpool washing machine that plays So Fresh and So Clean. I hope it works for them. My experience with Whirlpool products hasn't been the best. They haven't lasted very long, but I hope that these people are able to enjoy their washing machine for years to come. And come on, I know I can't be the only person that has heard their washing machine go off or gotten up to switch over their washed clothes into the dryer and not been humming So Fresh, So Clean to themselves. I know I ain't the only one that's had that song in their head while they're doing laundry. And this is just, an added fun tidbit to add to the task of doing laundry. So that is going to be it for this episode of the original Jeek Podcast. I am so thankful to all you out there who have supported the show, continue to support the show, even though we've been on a bit of a hiatus due to just lifing and the focus on Fanalysis 101. We could not do this show without you, all you Jeeks who continue to support us. Please rate and review the show on your podcasting app of choice. We are on Apple, Spotify, Castbox, and of course our favorite preferred platform because they shout us out and we love the experience, Good Pods. And if you have a podcasting app that you like to use and we're not on it, let us know. Email us at jeeknation@gmail.com or message us on Facebook at Jeek Nation. And until next time, peace.
Ready to make an entrance, so backwards cut. Come on, cut for me.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
This is DJ What, and you're listening to the original Jeek Podcast.